Tienshinhan. Previous, Budokai Tenkaichi winner, right? And he was going into this shit, thinking he was going to win again. Basically the only people he had to worry about was, Goku and, um, Piccolo. He was excited to fight against Goku. He defeated Tao Pai Pai, right? Or Mercenary Tao in the beginning of the tournament, in the, first rounds. He knocked his ass out. He tanked the Super Dodon, cannon ray. He was like, ha! He tanked the attack. It didn't do shit to him. He was able to, withstand that. And he knocked out Mercenary Tao and got him out of there. Then he fought against Goku. And when fighting against Goku, he made it, interesting. But Goku also made it interesting. He was like, Tien, I see that you're, still a good fighter. But I'm going to take my, I'm going to loosen up a bit. He takes off all of his weight, the weighted clothes he had. And he's like, hey, Goku, what is this? You've been wearing this shit the whole tournament and moving, and he's like, yeah. And after that, he started moving, way quicker. And Tien was like, damn, now I have a real challenge on my hand. But Goku ended up beating Tienshinhan. This time, Tien was like, damn, I kind of, figured, but also, I had to still try because I was training too for these past, 3 years, And, Tien took his L like a man, and he, ended up watching, Goku fight against Piccolo. Tienshinhan, though, his strength's at 80%. 81 for his speed, and 80 for his durability. 89 for his endurance, and a 79 for his intelligence. Or 80 for his intelligence, my bad. 85 for his experience, and 86 for his close skills. Range skills at 82%. 80% for his recoup, and 81% for his hacks. Overall power score for Tienshinhan is at 81.5 at the end of Dragon Ball. Tienshinhan, he did what he could, but, Goku was just, way better after being, not the boy anymore and training with Kami. Goku was basically, ahead of Tien by a lot, But be cool on the corner.